Shadows beneath the emerald sky, exploring Seattle's haunted legacy. Welcome to Whispers in the Dark, where we journey into the mysterious corners of our world's haunted history. Tonight, we set our sights on Seattle, a city that seems to breathe mystery through its foggy streets and towering evergreens. Known for its vibrant tech scene, coffee culture, and stunning natural beauty, Seattle harbors a darker side that few tourists ever glimpse. Beneath its modern facade lies a tapestry of ghostly tales and supernatural encounters that have woven themselves into the very fabric of the city's identity, making it one of America's most fascinating haunted locations. Seattle's unique position between Puget Sound and Lake Washington, surrounded by dense forests and shadowed by the Cascade Mountains, creates an atmosphere perfectly suited for paranormal activity. The city's dramatic weather patterns, characterized by frequent rain showers, rolling mists, and sudden temperature shifts, add an extra layer of eeriness to its already enigmatic streets. This natural environment, combined with its complex history of Native American legends, pioneer settlements, and industrial expansion, has created a fertile ground for supernatural occurrences that continue to manifest in the present day. What sets Seattle apart from other haunted cities is its distinctive combination of factors that seem to amplify paranormal phenomena. The city's underground tunnels, remnants of the Great Seattle Fire of 1889, serve as conduits for ghostly energy that permeates through the foundations of modern buildings. The dramatic tides of Puget Sound create natural ley lines that psychics claim enhance supernatural activity, while the city's steep hills and hidden alleyways provide perfect hiding spots for spirits reluctant to move on. Moreover, Seattle's reputation as a haven for free spirits and nonconformists has fostered an environment where paranormal experiences are often embraced rather than dismissed, leading to a rich collection of documented hauntings and ghostly encounters. As we delve deeper into Seattle's haunted landscape, we'll uncover how the city's complex history, shaped by maritime tragedies, violent crimes, unexplained disappearances, and mysterious deaths, has created a supernatural infrastructure that defies simple explanation. From tragic events like the Wami Massacre to legendary figures like Princess Angeline, Seattle's past is riddled with incidents that continue to resonate through its buildings, streets, and even its very atmosphere. These elements combine to make Seattle not just another haunted city, but a veritable treasure trove of ghostly tales waiting to be discovered and shared. Beneath Pioneer Square, the haunting echoes of Seattle's underground. Beneath the bustling streets of Pioneer Square lies a labyrinth of forgotten tunnels and basements that tell a dark chapter of Seattle's history, where tragedy and transformation birthed a supernatural legacy that continues to haunt visitors today. The Great Seattle Fire of 1889, which destroyed the city's original wooden structures, forced residents to rebuild literally on top of their old city, creating an underground network that would become both a refuge and a prison for countless souls. This subterranean world, now known as Seattle's Underground, serves as a chilling reminder of the city's phoenix-like rebirth and the spectral inhabitants who never made it above ground. The underground's haunted reputation stems from multiple layers of human suffering and historical trauma. During Prohibition, these buried corridors became speakeasies and opium dens, attracting criminals and desperate souls seeking escape from reality. Nighttime security personnel report seeing shadowy figures stumbling through the darkness, their forms matching descriptions of 1920s gangsters and Chinese immigrants who disappeared without trace. More disturbing are the accounts of children's laughter echoing through empty passages, accompanied by the sound of tiny feet splashing through perpetual puddles, remnants of families who sought shelter during the city's reconstruction only to vanish forever. Perhaps the most compelling evidence of paranormal activity centers around the former red light district entrances. Tour guides leading underground excursions regularly document instances of doors opening and closing by themselves, despite knowing they've secured them moments before. Visitors have captured EVP recordings of distressed voices calling out in multiple languages, while maintenance workers speak of tools moving independently across work sites, safety harnesses coming undone without apparent cause, and the overwhelming sensation of being watched from the darkness above. Most hauntingly, several visitors have photographed what appear to be women in period-appropriate attire standing near sealed brothel entrances, their faces obscured by veils yet their forms unmistakably solid, Certain sections of the underground have gained particular notoriety among paranormal investigators. The old merchant tunnels connecting different businesses bear their own catalog of supernatural encounters. Joggers participating in underground marathons have reported feeling icy fingers brush against their backs, accompanied by whispered pleas for help or forgiveness. Maintenance workers speak of equipment malfunctions during routine inspections, with radios cutting out precisely when communication is most crucial. Some paramedics refuse assignments involving medical emergencies in the underground altogether, citing an overwhelming sense of dread that permeates the area regardless of time or weather conditions. The underground's architectural design, featuring elaborate brickwork and intricate metal supports, seems almost purpose-built to amplify supernatural phenomena. During heavy fog, which frequently envelopes the subterranean spaces, witnesses describe seeing ghostly processions marching across original street levels, complete with antique automobiles and horse-drawn carriages. These spectral parades appear immune to modern traffic patterns, passing through maintenance crews and tour groups alike without acknowledgement. The underground's distinctive gaslight-style illumination takes on an otherworldly glow under certain conditions, creating an atmosphere that feels simultaneously nostalgic and menacing. Local historians have documented numerous cases where individuals claiming to have encountered spirits in the underground subsequently experienced life-altering changes. Many report receiving vivid visions of their own mortality, or developing intense empathy for those struggling with poverty and displacement. Some survivors of attempted suicides within these tunnels recount feeling restrained by invisible hands moments before leaping, only to discover later that others witnessed the same intervention. These accounts have led to the formation of support groups specifically for those who've experienced paranormal encounters in the underground, creating an unusual intersection between mental health advocacy and supernatural research. Modern technology has provided additional evidence supporting the underground's haunted reputation. Thermal imaging devices routinely detect anomalous heat signatures in empty corridors, while digital recorders capture intelligible phrases such as, "help me," and "get out," during silent vigils. Electromagnetic field meters spike erratically in certain areas, particularly near former trapdoors and holding cells. Perhaps most compelling are the photographs showing dense clusters of orbs hovering near known points of historical significance, their concentrated presence defying conventional explanations of dust particles or moisture in the AIR.AS. Dawn breaks over Elliott Bay and sunlight filters through grates above. The boundary between past and present within Seattle's underground becomes increasingly blurred. The subterranean maze stands not just as a historical landmark, but as a living testament to the power of memory, love, and loss. Its ghosts, whether remnants of actual spirits or powerful emotional imprints, continue to captivate visitors with their persistent presence, making it one of Seattle's most fascinating and well-documented haunted locations. The eternal guests of the Sorrento Hotel, spectral residents among the living since its grand opening in 1909, the Sorrento Hotel has stood as a cornerstone of Seattle's hospitality industry, welcoming dignitaries, celebrities, and business travelers alike. Yet beneath its luxurious facade and impeccable service lurks a collection of permanent guests who refuse to check out. The hotel's haunted reputation stems from a convergence of tragic events and distinguished visitors whose spirits seem unwilling to depart the opulent surroundings they once enjoyed in life. The most famous ghostly resident is Alice B. Toklas, the renowned writer and partner of Gertrude Stein, who maintained a long-standing relationship with the hotel during her visits to Seattle. Staff members regularly report seeing a distinguished woman in early 20th century attire patrolling the hallways, particularly on the upper floors she once occupied. Toklas's apparition is often accompanied by the distinct aroma of lavender, despite the hotel's modern scent-free policy. Housekeeping staff have documented instances of room service carts moving autonomously between floors, only to find Toklas's favorite suite prepared for occupation, complete with period-appropriate furnishings materializing overnight. The hotel's fireside room, renowned for its literary gatherings and social events, hosts its own supernatural festivities. Late-night performers and technical staff have witnessed couples waltzing across the empty floor, their movements perfectly synchronized to music that exists only in the realm of spirits. Audio engineers setting up for events have captured clear recordings of jazz music playing during setup hours, despite all equipment being powered down. Particularly striking are the reports of a flapper woman in a shimmering silver dress who appears to dance alone near the stage, her form dissolving into sequin-like sparkles when approached. Tragedy has left its mark on the hotel's guest registry as well. Room 405 bears the psychic imprint of a wealthy businessman who took his own life there during the Great Depression. Current occupants report feeling an overwhelming sense of despair upon entering, accompanied by the sound of paper tearing and the clink of ice cubes in a glass. Housekeeping staff have found the room's minibar mysteriously restocked with vintage liquors, and several guests have captured photographs showing a middle-aged man in a three-piece suit sitting in the armchair, staring out the window with an expression of profound sorrow. The hotel's dining establishments harbor their own supernatural patrons. The Dunbar Room restaurant frequently hosts an invisible dinner party at table 12, where dishes and silverware move as if manipulated by unseen hands. Waitstaff report feeling the presence of a distinguished couple, identified through historical records as Mr. and Mrs. Vanderbilt, who maintain their table manners even in death. Most intriguing are the kitchen staff's accounts of recipes spontaneously appearing on order tickets, resulting in dishes that match exactly what certain regular guests remember ordering decades ago. Perhaps the most widespread paranormal activity occurs in the hotel's elevators. Guests have reported rides that stop at floors showing no call buttons pressed, only to find the elevator empty upon arrival. Security cameras have captured footage of passengers boarding at one floor and disembarking at another, despite thorough checks confirming no one entered or exited during that time period. The elevators themselves seem to operate with a mind of their own, occasionally transporting cleaning carts to random floors or opening doors to reveal empty corridors bathed in an otherworldly blue light. The Sorrento's basement laundry facilities serve as a conduit for particularly unsettling phenomena. Workers have reported seeing shadowy figures folding towels and sheets, only to vanish when approached. Temperature fluctuations of up to 20 degrees have been measured in laundry rooms, accompanied by the sound of muffled conversations in languages no longer spoken. More curiously, digital devices left running overnight have captured hours of footage showing gravestones glowing faintly, as if illuminated from within. Audio analysis of these recordings reveals overlapping voices speaking in multiple languages, some dating back to Seattle's early settlement period. Hotel management maintains discrete records of reported phenomena, cross-referencing them with historical data about interred individuals. This systematic approach has revealed patterns linking specific types of hauntings to particular burial practices or causes of death. For instance, areas containing mass graves from disease outbreaks show higher concentrations of EVP captures related to symptoms and suffering, while sections housing prominent citizens generate more visual apparitions involved in social or political discussions. Despite its haunted reputation, the Sorrento Hotel embraces its supernatural inhabitants as part of its charm. Special ghost tours attract paranormal enthusiasts from around the world, while regular guests often request rooms with known activity, hoping to catch a glimpse of the hotel's eternal residents. The management team works closely with paranormal investigators, providing access to restricted areas and maintaining careful documentation of supernatural events. This unique approach has transformed the Sorrento from merely a hotel into a living museum of Seattle's social history, where the past continues to interact with the present in ways both subtle and profound. The Ghosts of Volunteer Park, where nature meets the supernatural nestled in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. Volunteer Park stands as both a verdant oasis and a nexus of paranormal activity that has puzzled visitors for generations. Established in 1876, this 50-acre sanctuary holds more than just scenic views and recreational facilities. It contains some of Seattle's most persistent supernatural phenomena. The park's haunted reputation stems not from isolated incidents but from a pattern of supernatural occurrences documented since its earliest days, making it one of the most consistently active paranormal sites in the Pacific Northwest. Among the park's most famous residents is the spirit of Chief Seattle himself, whose name adorns the city. Rangers and night security personnel regularly report seeing a distinguished Native American figure in traditional garb patrolling the grounds, particularly near the reservoir that bears his name. Chief Seattle's apparition is often accompanied by the distinct aroma of cedar smoke, despite strict no-smoking policies throughout the park. Park maintenance staff have documented instances of tools moving autonomously between maintenance sheds, only to find traditional tribal symbols carved into freshly painted surfaces overnight. The park's conservatory, opened in 1912, houses its most spectacular supernatural displays. Late-night gardeners have witnessed entire collections of exotic plants blooming simultaneously out of season, their petals glowing with an otherworldly luminescence. Botanists setting up for special exhibits have captured clear recordings of wind chimes ringing during calm nights, despite all instruments being secured indoors. Particularly striking are the reports of Victorian-era ladies in elaborate hats who appear to admire the floral displays, their forms dissolving into mist when approached directly. Tragedy has marked the park's history, particularly around its iconic water tower. Built in 1906, the tower has witnessed numerous suicides and accidental deaths over the decades. Current visitors report feeling an overwhelming sense of vertigo near its base, accompanied by the sound of distant screaming that seems to emanate from the structure itself. Maintenance workers have found fresh flowers placed on the observation deck railings, despite strict policies against leaving any items behind. Several guests have captured photographs showing silhouettes perched precariously on the tower's edge, their features matching descriptions of historical victims. The park's duck pond area harbors its own supernatural mysteries. Families feeding ducks have reported seeing additional children playing along the banks, only to vanish when called upon. Temperature fluctuations of up to 30 degrees have been measured near the pond's surface, accompanied by the sound of muffled conversations in languages no longer spoken. Most intriguing are the accounts of Japanese-American children appearing during cherry blossom season, their translucent forms wearing period-appropriate clothing from World War II internment camps. Perhaps the most widespread paranormal activity occurs during periods of heavy rainfall, when groundwater seeps through ancient pathways and fills the air with the scent of damp earth. These conditions seem to awaken dormant energies, resulting in increased reports of ghostly manifestations and heightened emotional responses from visitors. Psychics who ventured into the park speak of overwhelming waves of nostalgia and longing emanating from specific locations, particularly areas identified as former gathering spots for displaced communities. The whispering walls of Pike Place Market, echoes from beyond spanning 9 acres along Seattle's waterfront. Pike Place Market stands as both a culinary paradise and a supernatural nexus that has fascinated visitors since its establishment in 1907. As the oldest continuously operating farmers market in the United States, this bustling complex of shops and stalls has accumulated layers of history that continue to resonate through its buildings, streets, and even its very atmosphere. The market's haunted reputation stems from a unique combination of factors that make it particularly conducive to paranormal activity, transforming it from mere marketplace to one of Seattle's most actively haunted locations. The market's underground levels, originally used for storage and fish processing, serve as conduits for particularly unsettling phenomena. Nighttime security personnel report seeing shadowy figures pushing hand trucks through empty corridors, their forms matching descriptions of workers from different eras. More disturbing are the accounts of children's laughter echoing through abandoned storage rooms, accompanied by the sound of tiny feet splashing through perpetual puddles, remnants of families who sought employment during the Great Depression only to vanish without trace. Maintenance workers speak of equipment moving independently across work sites, safety harnesses coming undone without apparent cause, and the overwhelming sensation of being watched from the darkness above. Perhaps the most compelling evidence of paranormal activity centers around the famous public market center sign. Tour guides leading evening excursions regularly document instances of lights flickering in perfect synchronization with historical photographs of the market's past, despite modern LED technology. Visitors have captured EVP recordings of distressed voices calling out in multiple languages, while vendors speak of tools moving independently across stalls, price tags changing without explanation, and the overwhelming sensation of being watched from empty windows above. Most hauntingly, several visitors have photographed what appear to be merchants in period-appropriate attire standing near closed stalls, their faces obscured by steam from ghostly coffee machines yet their forms unmistakably solid. Certain sections of the market have gained particular notoriety among paranormal investigators. The original meat processing area, now home to various specialty shops, bears its own catalog of supernatural encounters. Butchers working late hours have reported feeling icy fingers brush against their backs, accompanied by whispered pleas for help or forgiveness. Maintenance workers speak of equipment malfunctions during routine inspections, with radios cutting out precisely when communication is most crucial. Some paramedics refuse assignments involving medical emergencies in the underground levels altogether, citing an overwhelming sense of dread that permeates the area regardless of time or weather conditions. The market's architectural design, featuring elaborate brickwork and intricate metal supports, seems almost purpose-built to amplify supernatural phenomena. During heavy fog, which frequently envelopes the waterfront spaces, witnesses describe seeing ghostly processions marching across original street levels, complete with antique pushcarts and horse-drawn delivery wagons. These spectral parades appear immune to modern traffic patterns, passing through shoppers and vendors alike without acknowledgement. The market's distinctive neon illumination takes on an otherworldly glow under certain conditions, creating an atmosphere that feels simultaneously nostalgic and menacing. The terminal spirits of King Street Station, Departures That Never Arrive. Seattle's King Street Station, opened in 1906, stands as both a transportation hub and a nexus of supernatural activity that has intrigued travelers and locals alike for over a century. Designed by Reed and Stem, the architecture firm responsible for New York's Grand Central Terminal, this Beaux-Arts masterpiece has witnessed countless arrivals and departures, some of which never reached their intended destinations. The station's haunted reputation stems from a series of tragic events and the emotional resonance of farewells that transcended the boundary between life and death, creating a spectral timetable that continues to run eternally. The most persistent supernatural phenomena center around Track 5, where a devastating train derailment occurred in 1943, claiming 23 lives. Night shift workers report hearing the distinct sound of screeching metal and shattering glass, followed by anguished cries that seem to emanate from the very walls. Security cameras have captured footage of figures in period-appropriate travel attire boarding imaginary trains, their forms dissolving into mist as they pass through solid barriers. Particularly chilling are the reports of conductors calling out stops that haven't existed for decades, their voices echoing through empty platforms during morning hours. The station's grand waiting room, with its iconic 105-foot clock tower modeled after Venice's Campanile, serves as a gathering point for spirits separated from their earthly journeys. Travelers have documented instances of benches bending under invisible weight, while ticket counters accumulate phantom reservations that appear in ledgers without explanation. Several employees have reported selling tickets to passengers who vanish immediately after purchase, only to discover their names matching victims of historical rail disasters. The room's acoustics seem to preserve snippets of conversation from different eras, creating a temporal symphony of overlapping dialogue that defies logical explanation. King Street Station's baggage claim area houses some of its most unsettling paranormal activity. Baggage handlers regularly encounter luggage moving independently across conveyor belts, tagged with destinations long abandoned by rail service. Security personnel have documented suitcases opening to reveal contents from different time periods, corsets, top hats, and sepia-toned photographs that vanish upon touch. Most disturbing are the reports of child-sized bags rocking gently despite remaining unclaimed for decades, accompanied by the sound of tiny footsteps echoing through empty corridors. The station's upper floors, once home to railroad offices, maintain their administrative functions in spectral form. Current tenants report feeling the presence of stern supervisors walking behind them, while office equipment activates independently, printing manifests for trains that never departed. Several businesses have relocated after experiencing what they describe as ghostly audits, with invisible hands rearranging files and accounting ledgers displaying figures that correspond to historical financial records. The executive suites, particularly those once occupied by Union Pacific officials, frequently experience temperature fluctuations up to 20 degrees, accompanied by the smell of aged leather and tobacco smoke. The eternal watchmen of Smith Tower, guardians above the city-piercing Seattle skyline since 1914, the Smith Tower stands as both a monument to early 20th century ambition and a supernatural sentinel guarding centuries of secrets. As the first skyscraper in the Pacific Northwest, This 42-story behemoth evolved from a symbol of progress to the final vantage point for countless spirits who refused to relinquish their earthly duties, transforming the building into one of Seattle's most intriguing haunted locations. Rising 522 feet above Pioneer Square, the tower's observation deck offers more than just panoramic views of the city. It provides a supernatural perspective on Seattle's past and present. The tower's most dedicated supernatural resident is believed to be Lyman Cornelius Smith, the firearms magnate who commissioned the building's construction. Security personnel report seeing a distinguished gentleman in period business attire patrolling the upper floors, his form occasionally splitting into multiple apparitions to cover different sections simultaneously. Visitors have captured photographs showing similar figures stationed at strategic points throughout the building, their movements coordinated with precision that suggests organized patrols rather than random manifestations. Most intriguing are the accounts of businessmen encountering their spectral counterparts, engaging in silent conversations that leave both parties visibly moved. Among the most persistent supernatural phenomena documented at Smith Tower are the reports of maintenance activities occurring without human intervention. During restoration work on damaged architectural features, workers have discovered fresh mortar repairs on structures they hadn't yet reached, while gardening tools left overnight frequently appear relocated to different locations. Particularly haunting are the accounts of visitors witnessing shadowy figures polishing brass fixtures, cleaning marble surfaces, or even rearranging furniture left by tenants. These manifestations occur with such regularity that building officials have developed protocols for distinguishing between genuine supernatural events and simple environmental factors, acknowledging the presence of these spectral caretakers in their operational procedures. The tower's elaborate ironwork and statuary harbor particularly unsettling guardianship phenomena. Maintenance workers have documented gates opening and closing without apparent cause, while flashlights held by tour guides frequently malfunction near certain floors. Most alarming are the temperature fluctuations reported throughout the building. Areas that register normal temperatures during daylight hours can suddenly drop 20 degrees or more after sunset, creating pockets of icy air that seem to follow visitors through the narrow pathways. Several security guards have resigned after experiencing what they describe as supernatural inspections, with invisible hands examining their credentials before granting access to restricted areas. The Vale of Death, Harborview Medical Center's forgotten souls beneath the bustling medical district of Seattle's First Hill lies one of the city's most haunting secrets: the forgotten burial grounds surrounding Harborview Medical Center. Active from 1877 to 1954, this massive pauper's graveyard served as the final resting place for thousands of indigent patients, victims of tuberculosis epidemics, and unidentified bodies processed by the hospital's morgue. Unlike the grand above-ground tombs of Seattle's famous cemeteries, Harborview's burial ground consists of simple trenches and mass graves, creating a stark contrast between the wealthy and impoverished dead that fuels its supernatural intensity. The cemetery's rediscovery in 1998 during construction of a new hospital wing unleashed a torrent of paranormal activity that continues to plague the medical center to this day. Archaeological excavations revealed hundreds of unmarked graves, many containing multiple bodies stacked together in hasty burials. Almost immediately, hospital staff began reporting ghostly apparitions in surgical wards and emergency rooms. Translucent figures wearing archaic medical garments or wrapped in tattered shrouds, their presence signaling the disruption of their eternal rest. Maintenance workers have documented tools and medical equipment moving between floors, seemingly directed by unseen hands attempting to rectify the disturbance to their resting place. One of the most persistent supernatural phenomena manifests in the hospital's morgue facilities. Pathologists report seeing shadow figures lying on examination tables, their forms matching descriptions of historical autopsy subjects. Surgical teams have captured video footage showing operating room lights illuminating empty tables, while vital sign monitors register phantom heartbeats and brain activity from non-existent patients. Most disturbing are the accounts of organ transplant recipients experiencing vivid memories of past lives, only to discover through historical research that these recollections perfectly match medical records of individuals buried in Harborview's unmarked graves. The cemetery's impact extends beyond visual manifestations into the realm of auditory hallucinations. Medical staff throughout the hospital complex report hearing overlapping voices calling out in distress, speaking in multiple languages and dialects from different eras. Some describe these voices as providing detailed medical information about their conditions, using terminology that predates modern diagnostic practices. Several doctors have documented instances of patients receiving accurate diagnoses from these disembodied voices, leading to the formation of unofficial support groups for healthcare professionals who've experienced paranormal encounters connected to Harborview's forgotten dead. Geophysical surveys conducted during the cemetery's rediscovery revealed extensive networks of unmapped burial trenches running beneath existing hospital structures. These findings correlate precisely with reports of supernatural activity hotspots throughout the medical center. Areas directly above major burial trenches exhibit dramatic electromagnetic anomalies that disrupt sensitive medical equipment, while temperature fluctuations of up to 40 degrees Fahrenheit have been recorded in operating rooms situated near mass grave sites. Some departments have implemented special protocols for handling patients in these affected areas, acknowledging the presence of supernatural influences that cannot be explained through conventional science. The Shadow Keepers of Volunteer Park Cemetery, guardians among the oaks deep within the heart of Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. Volunteer Park Cemetery stands as a testament to both the region's pioneer spirit and its supernatural legacy. Established in 1887, this sprawling 20-acre burial ground houses generations of Seattle's most prominent families, their ornate tombs casting long shadows beneath ancient oak trees. Yet beyond its historical significance lies a network of spectral guardians who have taken it upon themselves to maintain order within their eternal home, transforming Volunteer Park Cemetery into one of Seattle's most fascinating haunted locations. The cemetery's most dedicated supernatural resident is believed to be Dr. Henry Smith, a pioneering physician whose family plot dominates the central hill. Security personnel report seeing a distinguished gentleman in period medical attire patrolling the grounds, his form occasionally splitting into multiple apparitions to cover different sections simultaneously. Visitors have captured photographs showing similar figures stationed at strategic points throughout the cemetery, their movements coordinated with precision that suggests organized patrols rather than random manifestations. Most intriguing are the accounts of veterans from different eras encountering their spectral counterparts, engaging in silent conversations that leave both parties visibly moved. Among the most persistent supernatural phenomena documented at Volunteer Park are the reports of maintenance activities occurring without human intervention. During restoration work on damaged tombs, workers have discovered fresh mortar repairs on structures they hadn't yet reached, while gardening tools left overnight frequently appear relocated to different locations. Particularly haunting are the accounts of visitors witnessing shadowy figures pruning vegetation, cleaning marble surfaces, or even rearranging flowers left by mourners. These manifestations occur with such regularity that cemetery officials have developed protocols for distinguishing between genuine supernatural events and simple environmental factors, acknowledging the presence of these spectral caretakers in their operational procedures. The cemetery's elaborate ironwork and statuary harbor particularly unsettling guardianship phenomena. Maintenance workers have documented gates opening and closing without apparent cause, while flashlights held by tour guides frequently malfunction near certain grave sites. Most alarming are the temperature fluctuations reported throughout the grounds. Areas that register normal temperatures during daylight hours can suddenly drop 20 degrees or more after sunset, creating pockets of icy air that seem to follow visitors through the narrow pathways. Several security guards have resigned after experiencing what